I wanted to do a video and show you how we were going to hang our pictures on our wall. We're using steel pipe from the hardware store. High pressure gas line, I think, is what it's made for. And we're going to hang our pictures from it with chain, and I'll show you the final product when we're done. We have this big wall here, big empty wall that we're going to put the pipe on and hang the pictures from chain on it. And these are the supplies that we needed. We got 2 packs of decorative chain, 10 foot long a piece, and you want to get the ones that match whatever project you're doing. I got 3 packs of these hooks because we have 3 pictures that we're hanging. We're going to put the hooks in the top corners of each one. Ours happen to be nickel colored, and they're called cup hooks. Ours are 1 1/4 inches. You can get all this stuff at Home Depot or Lowe's, or if you want to order it from home, I'll put links in the description to the stuff on Amazon. This is a 90-degree male to female elbow, 3/4 inch to match the pipe that we got. This is a floor flange, and this is what we're going to use to screw into the wall. And because it'll be too heavy and it won't necessarily line up with our studs, I got these hollow wall anchors. These are 1/4 inch short anchors. There you go. I think they'll hold up to like 65 pounds a piece, and I'm going to have 4 in each end, so it shouldn't be a factor with just 3 pictures hanging there. So that's that. And then you need steel pipe. We've got a 10-foot length of 3/4 inch steel pipe, and I'm going to go outside and show you the first step that I'm doing with that. I already got it started, and I thought maybe you guys would want to see how it was done, so I stopped to make a video. Here's my 10-foot 3/4 inch pipe, and the thing that you want to make sure of when you get it at the store is to make sure that these little plastic caps right here are intact and the threads underneath aren't boogered up, because if they're messed up, it's going to be hard to put your elbows on there, because your elbows screw onto the end of this to hold it to the wall. So you want to make sure of that. Then what I've done is I've got these disinfectant wipes, and I was wiping the pipe off back and forth because they're really dusty from sliding around at the hardware store and stuff. And you know, they're all scratched up, so this is going to be an industrial looking project. You can't get one that doesn't look scratched up. If you're worried about the scratches or the scrapes, I guess you could take it home and spray paint it whatever color you want, and then you could have a different color pipe, or even just spray paint it black so it's not messed up. But you can see there's scrapes and stuff on there. For our project, it's okay because we've got some cityscapes on the pictures, and so it's going to look like it belongs. The other thing is there's tape and stickers on here, and what I'm doing is I've got a piece of paper towel and some Goo Gone, which is like magic, and I'm pouring that on the paper towel and then rubbing it on the stickers, and that softens the stickers so that you can take them off easier, because we don't want those stickers on there when we hang it on the wall. So I'm going to finish up that part, and then I'll meet you at the next part. Okay, so we've got our elbow and our floor flange and our end of our pipe here. And what we're going to do is, see, we've got a female end and a male end. We're going to screw the female end onto the end of the pipe, and then we're going to screw the male end into the flange like that. And then we're going to use the flange to bolt it to the wall. So that's how we're going to get the pipe to stand out from the wall and still screw into the wall. So the easiest way to do it is to measure the overall length of the room and the overall length of the pipe. And then if you want it centered in the room, calculate how much you need to be out from the wall. In my particular case, it was 1 foot 3 inches out from the wall to center it in the room. So I put one end of the pipe with a flange up 1 foot 3 from the wall. And then I used the other end, I lifted it up and put a level on it to make sure that it was level. And I hold the flange up there to the wall where it was level, and I used a pen to mark it. Now with the particular wall anchors that I got, I had to use a 1/2 inch drill bit. I use a 1/2 inch drill bit, and then you put the wall anchor in and screw it down so that it locks in place. Unscrew the screw, and then when you put the flange up there and put the screw through the flange, the wall anchor is already set. So it's a 1/2 inch drill bit. Now, in one spot, I hit the stud. I can't put a wall anchor where there's a stud because you can't screw it in. So then I used a 1/4 inch drill bit to drill into the stud so that I could use the same bolt from the wall anchor to put into the stud so that it all matches. And so it was a 1/4 inch stud, 1/4 inch wall anchor bit screw. So I used a slightly smaller than 1/4 inch drill bit to drill into the stud so that I could screw the bolt into the stud and make everything look kosher. So here's our 3 pieces of chain that we're going to use in order to hang the pictures from the pipe. And you want to buy chain that isn't welded. That way you can just use a pair of pliers to pry a link open at the spot where you want to break the chain. And remember to leave 1 extra link. So let's say you look at it and you decide you want the pictures hanging 20 links down. Then you're going to multiply that by 2 is 40 links. Add 1 link is 41 links. And that link is going to be the one that is attached by the hose clamp. Because you're going to have to attach one of them to the pipe with a hose clamp. And so that one's basically not going to add anything to the length, and you're going to need an even number of links on the other sides. So the chain that you have left after you make it the length you want is always going to be an odd number, so that each side of the chain hanging the picture is an even number. So this is what it'll look like. We've got our picture hanging down from our chain, and our chain, I forgot to mention earlier, I had some hose clamps already that I didn't have to buy, but if you don't have them, you'll have to buy them. Those are going to be what connects the chain to the pipe. So I'll get a few of those and show you what those look like too. Here's a picture of the hose clamps that we're going to use to attach to the pipe, and you have to make sure that you get some that are bigger around than the pipe is. I happen to have some laying around. I would say that the best size would be these number 20s. It's hard for you to see there. Number 20s, it's a 3/4 inch to 1 3/4 inch. I also have one here that goes from 18/16 to 1.5 inches. That one is going to work. It's a number 16. So maybe 16 will wind up being the best ones because it'll be a little bit smaller with less play left in it. And you can get those at an auto parts store, or I'll put a link to them below with a list of materials that you need for this job. Now these hose clamps use a standard screwdriver, a flat blade. If you can see that, let me see there we go, flat blade. And what you do is unscrew them, and they'll open all the way up, and you can put them over the pipe and then screw them back together. And make sure you put them through the link of chain that you want hanging there before you screw it back together on the pipe. Otherwise you won't be able to get the chain on there. So I'll put one together and then I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, here's our pipe mounted to the wall. And one tip when you go to put the screws in the wall, do the inside one first, the one that's under the pipe first. And then you can rock the flange up to put the other screws in, because it's hard to get behind the pipe to put the screw in. So now we're going to put our hose clamps on there, and then we can hang our chain with our pictures. All right, I got my pictures here, and I've got a tiny little drill bit that I'm going to use to drill pilot holes in the frame. Now, for our styling purposes, we've decided to go almost to the very edge of the frame. So I'm going to go in the middle of the frame, like right there, and 1 inch in from the corner. And I'm going to drill a pilot hole, and that's going to be where I screw my little hooks into. So I'll come back and show you when the little hooks are screwed into the frame. Okay, so here's our 3 pictures with the hooks all screwed into them. It's very easy to screw the hooks in once you drill your pilot hole, and we put the opening towards the back so that we can hang them on the chain. So very easy. You want to make sure and drill the pilot hole, because if you don't drill the pilot hole, then your frame may crack and your screw will be crooked and it won't necessarily hang perfectly. So the pilot hole is pretty important. So here's the hose clamp with the 1 link of chain attached to the pipe. And I left it a little bit loose so that once we get our 3 pictures hung up there, we can space them the way we want to before I tighten it up. So it's loose so I can see, you leave it a little bit loose and you can slide it back and forth. And then also what we're doing is once we hang the pictures up, we can hook it on whichever links we want to find the right height, and then just remove the extra links. And that makes it somewhat adjustable, because it's really hard to visualize with such a large project until you get it up there. So that's probably a good idea for you too. So there's our finished project. Those pictures are about 3 foot wide a piece. The end ones are 32 inches and the middle one is 3 foot. So a total with the spacing in there is over 9 foot wide. our pipe up there is 10 foot, and that wall was pretty much blank before we started. It's definitely a statement piece. And they make these pipes 6 and 8 and 10 foot. If you need something shorter than that, you could even do segments, like a 2-foot one to hang one picture from, and then another 2-foot one, and they sell them in those shorter lengths too. So you can piece them together if you have an area longer than 10 foot, because the longest pipe you're going to be able to get is 10 foot. And it wasn't too long. It took us probably an hour and a half to do the whole thing. And some ways that you can do minor adjustments once you get it hanging up is to screw the hooks in or out. You can adjust the hose clamps back and forth, and you can remove lengths of chain on either side of the picture, because some of the pictures aren't exactly square, and so it's hard to get them level. And you won't be able to notice too much if they're not quite level, because they are hanging there, so they swing a little bit in the breezes. Anytime you walk in or out of the room, or the heater or air conditioner comes on, it moves a little bit. And we put glitter on our pictures in certain spots as kind of accents, so that when it moves with the air, then it also catches the light and makes it shine wherever the glitter is. So that's pretty cool, and I think it made a huge difference to the room. It wasn't that difficult. The pipe and all the fittings cost about $70, so it wasn't super expensive, and it's industrial. And you can see we have like black leather in this room and stark white, and so we felt like industrial matched it pretty good, especially with the paintings we had of the New York bridges and skyline. And so you can probably even see in the picture some of the glitter accents on the bridges and stuff. So it's pretty cool, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. And I'll put a list of the materials down below, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the remarks. Thanks.